All right, y'all going live for a little bit. What's going on? Let's go ahead and do it. Give me 1 second to get situated here. Got a little bit of free time here to drop a live, and we can do a little discussion because we got a fight coming up today. Not a major fight, right? But it's still a flyweight. It's still a flyweight action. Should be an action-packed flyweight fight, hopefully. So let's see. Get 1 second going here. Definitely ain't this card definitely ain't a pay-per-view worthy card. Of course it's not. It is a UFC fight night card. All right, what's going on, y'all? We got something to watch. It's definitely something to watch. And it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. It's two good fighters. So yeah, I just want to talk about a few things, let a few of y'all come in here. I was trying to get this other connection, pulling up this other tab, but it's taking forever to come up. That's my man Nabash. What's going on? Yeah, friend Marcus Bell. Man, I feel like I'm behind. I had so much going on, so many things to do, and so much going on, man. Like a lot of crazy stuff I need to talk about because I know some of y'all are talking about it behind the scenes. Some people want to know what I think about what's going on with the flyweight division. But yeah, I'm gonna go into it as soon as I get a chance, man. I'm gonna be going into it this week, man, because a lot of crazy stuff going on, and usually I'll be giving y'all my thoughts right away, dropping a video right away. But I feel like I haven't been able to do that over the past few days. Because yeah, we got a situation going on at the top now. We got a lot of fighters that want to go after that belt now that Valentina's lost it. So we're gonna talk about that. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about it. Maybe towards the end of this show or this live stream, and then we'll go into a little bit later this week. Piers, what's up? Claude, what's going on? He said, "Here, yeah, we definitely got to talk about that." Tonight though, well, not even tonight. This afternoon we got JJ Aldrich and Ariane Lipski. This is the second time, right? This fight had to be rescheduled, or no? It was canceled. Hold on, I remember the original. I can't remember the original date because I think I did a video talking about it, but like the fight got canceled. Like I want to say the next week when I discussed it. But yeah, this is a reschedule. This fight's a reschedule here, and of course, y'all know these are two unranked fighters who are trying to get into that mix. And as y'all know, right now the flyweight division is tough. The flyweight division right now is very, very tough. It's very competitive. I mean, no matter what anybody says, some people think it's a boring division. Some people think that, just because a lot of these fighters could make it to the top or challenge Valentina, they were always thinking that these are bad fighters. It's like I said, a lot of these flyweights, yeah, they definitely had a different skill set and a different discipline level than Valentina. They definitely did, but there was still like a lot of growth. You know what I mean? Like it was only a matter of time before these fighters were catching up. That's one thing I always said about this division. I've always said, look, okay, Valentina's in her own place because she earned it, but there's a lot of other flyweights that are still good. They're still good fighters, and the minute that she either loses her belt or they catch up, we're gonna get a fire division, right? We're gonna get a fire division, and I think even the lower half, like fighters like JJ Aldrich and Ariane Lipski, they got a lot to offer, and they're in there training hard. They're still young, fighter like JJ Aldrich, she's 30 now, but I still think she has a lot to prove, and she's definitely looked a lot better than when she started out, when she was a straw weight. I think this weight fits her a lot better. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these fighters that were killing themselves to make straw weight, you see them look a little bit sharper and stronger. For sure, you start to see them look stronger at 125. So to me, I don't know, man. Like if somebody like JJ Aldrich, if her takedown defense and her wrestling can be effective here at 125, her improvements in her wrestling, then and she can look really strong, that might be a message. Like that might be a subtle little message to somebody like Tatiana Suarez that, hey, you might need to get into this mix, because if somebody like JJ Aldrich is having to move up to 125, maybe Suarez might have to. I don't know. I'm just saying. Like you might see the best Suarez with less of a weight cut, but that's a different story, right? Yeah, JJ Aldrich, to me, I've always thought, she was a really good technical striker. I'm a fan of her style, but she definitely had to grow. In the flyweight division, you got to get that up. You got to get those other elements down, and I think she's been doing that. So I think this is a fight where she's going to try to step out of the box and really show improve, because that 15 spot is like a most coveted spot right now. It's like a revolving door, but everybody wants to try to at least get to that 15 or 14 spot to start calling out some of these girls that are on their way out now. When you get to that mix, you start saying, I want Lauren Murphy. I want Arujo. Let me get Andrea Lee or Macy Barber, right? So if she could get back to that point and show up and show out, I think they'll probably try to put her into the mix. Now, the boss said this is Ariane Lipski's last chance. I don't know if it's her last chance, but I definitely see this as a fight where she needs to do something. Like, what do you think, the boss? Is she in the same boat as Montana De La Rosa? Because she did lose to Montana, right? Yeah, she did lose to Montana. So maybe she is in that same boat, right? Because she's 14-8. And in her last 5 fights, she is 2-3. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Overall in the UFC, let's see, she is 3-5. Oh yeah, most definitely the boss. She's in that same boat. Maybe even like in the back, because she got finished by Montana, right? And she's been finished back to back. She got finished by Antonina Shevchenko and Cachoeira, and dominated on the ground by JoJo a while back, right? So yeah, Ariane Lipski's in that boat. I always get her I always kind of like want to give her a pass, because she's like 29 years old. She's younger, and she has power, and she has she has an exciting style. You know what I mean? Like Lipski kind of has an exciting style, but as far as like what she's bringing to the UFC, and she's been here about 4 years now. She's been in the UFC for about 4 years, and she's just racked up a record of 3-5. Right? That sounds like somebody that could be on their way out, especially if they're not really like showing up. They're not really showing up and making big statements. Like when she scores a win, it looks good, but it's against some lesser competition. Like, Mandy Bohm, I thought she was going to go in there and show up and do something big against Lipski, because that was the opponent to do that against, but she wasn't able to. The Luana Carolina fight doesn't really pose like a big threat, especially even on the feet, like power wise. Who else did she beat? Oh yeah, Isabella de Padua ain't even in the UFC anymore, is she? Yeah, that was her last win. Somebody that wasn't even in the UFC. That's not even in the UFC anymore. Yeah. She's not. Isabella's not even in the UFC anymore. So that's like part of her three wins in the UFC. One against somebody in the that's not in the UFC, and 2 unranked fighters, man. So yeah, like Lipski's really got to show out. I think I added her to that chopping block. So Lipski, I hope this work is paying off with American Top Team. I hope it is. She's getting that training in with Amanda Nunes. Hopefully she's trying to really, really learn how to what's the word I'm looking for with her? Like Lipski, hopefully she can go in there and really um not not really exploit her power, but she really needs to find new ways to be a little bit more slick with her striking. You know, I think she can still be drawn into these exciting type of matches, these type of barn burners where it'll set her up for failure. You know, like when she fought Priscilla Cachoeira, you know, she resorted to trying to trade with Cachoeira, and that right there just disappointed me right away, man. As soon as like she got rocked and her mind frame was to trade, I was like, there goes my pick. I actually picked Lipski in that zombie girl fight. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I thought she was going to be the straighter striker in that fight, and you know the ATT training was going to pay off because she was already training with ATT at that time, right? She was already training with ATT when she was taking that Cachoeira fight. So I thought we were going to see some, you know, educated moments, her picking her shots and maybe dropping the level and taking Cachoeira down. But she got right into the power zone and it cost her. I know the fight was at 135, so maybe we can use that as an excuse, but I don't know. It still didn't show. Like it didn't show. So before that, the Mandy Bone fight, yeah, that was a given. Uh, I expected her to do something, you know, and make it a hard fight for Mandy. I thought Mandy was going to win that fight, but you know, hey, she's got to go back and work herself. But yeah, Ariane Lipski definitely on that chopping block. So the more and more you kind of look at her resume, I don't know if this fight is going to make JJ Aldrich swing into the top 15, but it could. Because last week, Miranda Maverick was in the top 15. You know, she was in the top 15. And now that everybody's dropped, Calvillo's still there. So I would rather JJ Aldrich get that spot because JJ Aldrich would be three. She would be 4-1 in her last five fights if she gets this victory over Ariane Lipski. If she can get this victory over Ariane Lipski, she'll be 4-1 in her last five fights. You know, she'll have defeated Demopoulos, Courtney Casey, Jennifer Maya, not Jennifer Maya, Jillian Robertson. Sorry, Jillian Robertson, Lipski, and the only loss would have been to Erin Blanchfield. So if she can pick up this victory this Saturday, it might put her at that 15 spot. You know, but when I'm looking at this fight, I'm looking at, you know, a technical striker in JJ. You know, somebody likes to pick her shots, and she's very effective at doing that. You know, at this point, it's kind of like second nature with how she can measure her range and how she can, you know, put those shots together, fight behind a good straight right jab. You know, she's a southpaw, and now she has that level. You know, she has that other level. Her takedown defense has gotten better, and her wrestling is something that she's really been working on. You know, she's been working on her jiu-jitsu as well. You know, she trained a while with Rose Namajunas, and those were the times where you could see like the changes in her skill set. You know, her getting more confident to, you know, not really lose her composure whenever she's kind of in that mid-range pocket now. Like now she can step in and say, okay, I can strike here, but if you step in and try to take me down, I can stop your takedown, or I can reverse position. I can get top control, you know? So yeah, JJ Aldrich, you know, she's definitely getting better on the ground and on the feet, and confidence is starting to show. Even in that Erin Blanchfield fight, I thought she had some, you know, confidence in that fight because everybody loves to bring up the fact that she was taking Erin Blanchfield to school on the feet, which she was winning that round. But I was against Erin. I was not worried. I was like, okay, JJ Aldrich is doing her thing. She's doing her thing on the feet, but this is still Erin. I know what Erin is capable of. Like she might have lost that first round, but I know what Erin's capable of. But still, that just shows you right there. Like there's no problems with JJ Aldrich's footwork. She made one little mistake in her her position when she was standing, as far as how she dropped the level. She gave up her neck, and yeah, Erin took it. Right, Erin took it. So I don't think that this is going to be a situation here where you see JJ making the same mistake. I think she's getting better as a fighter, man. I think JJ is smarter than a lot of people want to give her credit for. I think she's a smart fighter. Macy Barber caught her. You know, even before that, Macy was getting her head snapped back by JJ Aldrich. So I think JJ is just one of those fighters that's kind of like a slower progress. Like, you'll see her in the top 15 pretty soon. You're going to see her in the top 15 pretty soon. Let's see. Piers, what's going on? Oh, BJ, what's up, man? I had to jump on BJ. It's been a minute. A lot of stuff going on, man, that I haven't, had a chance to talk about. And this is just a part of it. This is just a piece of it. I'm not even like going into the other stuff today, but if I have time, maybe. And I'm just stopping through for right now. Let me check these comments real quick. Let's see. Piers, what's up? He said Valentina needs a new approach. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. Marcus Bell said, I think Suarez is mine. She has unfinished business at strawweight. Yeah, I think so. We'll really see what she's capable of when that weight comes into play, right? We'll see if it's a problem or not. Nabas said, I like Lipski's fighting style too, but she's not performing well in the UFC. Right. Yeah, I think if she doesn't perform in this fight, Lipski can be exciting in Invicta FC. But even then, like Invicta FC, the girls over there, they're getting better, So I don't know if Ariane Lipski's going to be that type of fighter. I don't know. Like, what do y'all think? Ariane Lipski, like, she's pretty thin, though, man. Like, she's not like this huge flyweight. That's why maybe she's getting controlled here, even on the ground. Like, maybe Ariane Lipski needs to go to strawweight. If she doesn't do good, all hope is lost. Yeah, because if she loses this fight, I think she might be looking at getting cut. Let's see. I picked Lipski against Montana and Priscilla. Did I pick Lipski against Montana? I can't remember if I think I picked Montana in that fight. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. We'll have to look back at a video or two. But I can't remember. I think I might have picked Lipski too. I picked Lipski against Priscilla because I thought she was, she had the ground game now. I thought she was going to take it down. But when that weight came into play, I really started looking at it differently, I think. I picked Lipski when it was 125, but my pick got shaky whenever Priscilla. I think my pick got a little bit shaky when she got moved to 135 for that fight, Yeah, I think I picked Lipski all around in this one because Lipski, I was thinking that, she was getting better working with Nunes, but hey, we already seen what kind of trainer Nunes was with the Tough House, right? That's a whole different story. Dubai said I also picked Lipski against Cachoeira on paper. She's a better striker. Yeah, she just didn't use her tools right away. Yeah, when she got rocked, she was done. BJ said you knew Lipski Marcus wasn't beating Montana. No, nobody knows that. When you talk about Montana, nobody knows anything when she fights. Just like you knew she was beating Macy Barber, right? Don't start with no Montana now. Don't start with no hey. Don't start with no Macy. But you know what, BJ? I think I'm gonna call for smoke like maybe later tonight if I have a chance because you're gonna be you be over here talking trash about Manon, but you got a fighter like Montana who's not pulling the trigger either. Okay, that's giving false hope here. Okay, so we ain't gonna talk about we ain't gonna go in. Look, if I want to go in on the beast, I can because hey, if I see something there, I'm gonna say something. But BJ, you ain't gonna be talking about Manon Fiorot whenever somebody like Montana ain't pulling the trigger. Okay. And you talking about she gonna beat Lipski? Come on. You know it ain't no guarantee. We gonna do a resume check here, all right? We're gonna do a resume check on Lipski and Montana, and we're gonna compare them. And I want to know where it's gonna be 80-20 for Montana against Lipski. All right. Little sidebar here. Oh, hey, Marcus Bell. When have the odds ever been 80-20 in favor of Montana against somebody like Ariane Lipski? That's gonna be 50-50, right? When you look at both of these fighters, it'll be 50-50. It don't get no. You can't say Montana guaranteed to beat somebody like even Lipski when they both unranked fighters. Of course, she already beat her. I'm not saying she didn't beat her. I'm saying before that. I'm saying as far as the pick, you can't say in any way before that pick that it was it was in Montana's favor. That's one sided. Oh yeah, she gonna beat her one sided. No way. We already know she won the fight, but I'm saying before that, you act like it was a shoe in, like we could put the house on that. Yeah, right. Now I'm gonna have to school you on that. In no way Lipski was that much of an underdog. I don't care what the odds say, but with both of these girls' resume, ain't no way. See, y'all are missing the point. Marcus already got it. Even Gary talking about Montana already beat. Y'all ain't listening to me. Y'all ain't listening. See, Marcus is listening. Marcus done got what I said. Especially if you just came in, you don't know what the point I'm trying to prove here is. But what's going on, Gary? Yeah, what's going on? I know she already beat her. But like I'm saying, this is going to be a fight where Lipski is on the chopping block and JJ Aldrich is ready to show her different levels. It's still kind of tough to say just because of her power factor, and maybe Lipski might be dangerous, but I'm still going with JJ Aldrich in this fight. I'm gonna still go with JJ Aldrich in this fight, man, because I think that she's a much, much more well-rounded fighter. I think she gets it too. I think JJ Aldrich gets it because she's that type of fighter that goes back to the drawing board and learns from those mistakes. You know, like I haven't really seen her make the same mistakes over and over again. Like, for example, Montana. We're gonna use her as an example. Like, I would have loved to see JJ Aldrich fight Montana. I could see her winning that fight. Like JJ Aldrich would beat Montana too. I think even BJ would agree with me on that. Like Aldrich beats Montana. Nah, man, if Aldrich wins, she gets to the top 15. I believe. Ain't no need for her to fight down after she just got finished by a fighter that's been out for about 3-4 years, right? In Tatiana Suarez. Nah, JJ, we going up. JJ, we going up from here. JJ, her most like I said, the only loss she's had recently was she had a close fight with Sabina Mazo. That was a tight fight. But before that, way back, it was the Macy fight. And most recently was Erin Blanchfield, which is understandable. And then even in that fight, we could say she was winning that round. So she hasn't really been knocked off course too much. Maybe a little confidence needed. So once JJ Aldrich gets in here tonight, we'll see what she can do. But I have her winning this fight. I think you will see her go to the ground here. Like, if she tastes the power of Ariane Lipski, maybe she can control this fight on the ground. I don't want to see her get reckless, though. Like, Ariane Lipski could be pretty slick with her submissions at times, but who else besides Juana Carolina has she submitted in the UFC? Again, I know MMA math doesn't add up, but BJ said, but what has Aaron done but get finished? Yeah, by the top contender now, right? By a number 3 fighter. So you answering your own questions. BJ, all right, I'm gonna put this on blast, right? BJ said, but what has JJ done but get finished? Okay, now you want to take away from her. Remember, y'all were talking junk about Erin Blanchfield getting pieced up against JJ Aldrich. Everybody was saying Erin Blanchfield was getting pieced up by JJ Aldrich. They were giving JJ Aldrich all the credit. They were giving her all the credit then, but now it's now she got finished. How many times has she got finished? Way back against Macy Barber, and now she gets finished against a fighter that's the number 3 now that just beat Jessica Andrade. Okay, and she's getting better as a fighter. Like, at least she lets her hands go. At least you can see JJ Aldrich still get better as a fighter. Like, compare JJ to Montana. Like I'm saying, I'm not hating here, but I'm just saying, like, who looks like they're trying to get better as a fighter, and they're showing it between JJ and Montana. Like, what has JJ done to make the necessary improvements? Like, she's changed camps. She's got some of the same signature people in her camp, but you've seen her work with some other fighters. Like, she was cool with Joanna in the past, worked with her, worked with fighters like Rose Namajunas. She's worked on her striking with her, even her ground game with her, and even like Usman. Like, work with some of these fighters like that. So you see a big difference there. You see a big difference, man. So come on now. Like, what has she done? She's on. Look at her, man. She's on she's 3-1 right now. I know you're gonna talk about the competition, but hey, look, still some decent fighters there. She's beating some of these unranked fighters. The other one was just, like I said, Aaron Blanchfield is in her own lane right now. You ain't gonna beat somebody like that's on this type of warpath, on in any type of whether it's grappling, on the feet or on the ground. Somebody like Aaron Blanchfield is just on another level. So the minute they get you, like, even like I said, a technical striker like JJ Aldrich going in there with improving ground game, it's still gonna come up short against Arian. BJ said Montana has harder fights than JJ, and Montana goes out and finishes people. All right, so what happens when she's had those harder fights, though? Has she made the necessary changes, though? Like, has she won any of those harder fights? No. Like, again, like, to a lot of people, the Suarez fight wasn't considered too much of a harder fight. To some people, it should have been a winnable fight for her, especially coming back. They should have, she should have been able to go in there and say, hey, this is my division. I'm a flyweight. I'm a true flyweight, right? And finishes, like, who all did she finish? Okay, Rachel Ostovich, right? She finished Rachel Ostovich and she finished Ariane Lipski. Who else did she finish? Who else did she finish? Hold on. I'm just doing a resume check since we got sideboard here. Okay, Rachel Ostovich, Ariane Lipski, and that's it. Hold on. If you want to go way back, we'll go back 6 years ago. About 6 years ago, she beat Christina Marks. I'm just saying, bro. No, she did fight Tatiana Suarez. JJ fought her back, and Tatiana beat her. That was back when they were 115. In the tough house. Still counts as a fight. I mean, yeah, that was back like at 115, right? Suarez and Aldrich fought back then. Suarez dominated. See, I'm talking about who was she finished? Well, let's see. We're not really talking about finishing here. We're talking about winning, though. See, you want to just see finishes. I'm talking about somebody winning, man, and getting better as a fighter. Like, I really don't just base it off of finishing here. I'm just talking about getting better as a fighter. So, yeah, I think JJ Aldrich is going to win this fight. There's, no reason that she shouldn't win this fight this weekend. And if they make that fight, okay, look, they want, okay, if Montana wants one more go round, make that JJ Aldrich fight. And if she doesn't win that fight, then hey, go on. Right. Yeah, Nabosh. Yeah, that was like, yeah, see, Nabosh, remember? That was like back in the day. Everybody, I remember that fight. Because I watched it that night it was on. Gary said Montana doesn't get finishes out of nowhere like Macy or Aaron or BJ. No, she don't. It takes a while. It takes a while. It's grueling for her, even on this level. Yeah, BJ want Aldrich versus Montana. We'll do that. Do that. Hey. And you know what? Montana lose. That's all I'm going to say. You know what that means. You want to put it all on the line like that? I think JJ will win that fight. She better win tonight. I know that much. Before we try to jump ahead, she better win tonight. All right, but let's look at Juju here. Juju, just seen her recent post on IG, and this girl is getting in shape, man. Like, they're gonna have to watch out for Juju Miller right now. I'm just telling everybody, like, it's still early to tell where she's going from here, of course, because we haven't seen her fight yet in the UFC. She won the Tough House. But let's take a look at Juju, man. Like, look at her. Y'all see her recent post on IG? And that's what I'm talking about. Like, sometimes when you see these girls on IG just posting pictures or posting thirst traps and this and that, I'm like, okay, we get it. But somebody like Juliana Miller, you got to give her credit when she posts these pictures flexing, because you can see this girl is working, man. She's getting better, and she's getting better as far as her discipline, and she's putting on some muscle on this physique. You know what I mean? Like, this frame that she possesses, I think is going to be, if she knows how to utilize it right, it's going to be a big it's going to be a big help to her in this division, man. Like, I forgot to put that picture up of Juju, but Juju she's looking good, man. Like, physically, I know we still need to see what she looks like technically, as far as moving forward in the UFC. But yeah, this division is looking very, it's looking very well put together right now. I mean, at the bottom you have this Tough House winner who we still need to see a little bit more of, but behind the scenes she's been working. She's already overseas now, and she's putting that work in. Not just in the ring and in the cage, sparring, but as far as her physique too. That's why you can tell, like, she's a real flyweight. This girl's a real flyweight. She's cutting it down, man. She's cutting it down, no fat, all, she's just, all shoulders and muscle here. You know what I mean? Like, she's got this long reach too. Like, I don't know if they have her reach right, but she's got a pretty long reach too. Juju Miller has a pretty long reach. Let's see, Macedo today or next week. Oh, what's up, Saint? Yeah, it's next week. They actually got it back to back. Like, it's the opening fight. No. Casey O'Neill versus Jennifer Maia is actually the opening fight, and then Juju is the next fight right after. So they got both of these fights on the early prelims back to back. Excuse me. They got these fights back to back. That's wild too, man. Like, why didn't they at least put the Tough House winner and somebody like Casey O'Neill, who has a fan base out there in Scotland, right? Like, why didn't they put them on like the prelims of the main card? I don't get that. Yeah, that's gonna be that should be some crazy fights for the division, man. Because with Casey O'Neill returning, we'll see what she looks like against Jennifer Maia. And then Juju, we can kind of gauge it. Like I said, Juju should win this fight. I mean, to me, in my opinion, I think she should win this fight. Hold on. Efren said Grass only had one finish in the UFC going into her fight with Shevchenko. Yeah, just win. That's all I'm talking about, Efren. Like, that's the point. Just win. Like, the only time you ever heard me like analyze her ability to finish, like, when you hear me talk about Grasso's ability to finish, it's not to knock her and just say that's all you have to do is finish a person, right? Like, when I'm talking about Alexa Grasso and her not finishing opponents, I was kind of measuring her kill switch at the time. You know what I mean? Like, and she's proved me wrong on that. Like, she can go after it. Like, I just was thinking to myself, like, from what I'm seeing throughout her UFC career, she's not really going after it. The finish, that was what's kind of making it hard to pick against Valentina, right? But overall, man, You got to just win. That's what it is, man. Let's see. Nabaj said, yeah, this looks like a layup. Macedo has been out for 3 years and never had a good takedown defense. Yeah, it's not like this. It's not like this big fight. I'm looking to see her go in there and do like she's facing this huge opponent. No, like this is what we're going to see her look like. We're just going to kind of see what she looks like. They're kind of playing it safe, bringing her in, and go from there. Okay, yeah, the prelim started at 3 p.m. So this Lipski Aldrich fight should be starting at like, I guess, 4 o'clock. I usually I usually pick it pretty right on time. Yeah, it should be like around 4 o'clock. The boss said this looks like a late. Yeah, I read that. Yeah, Sink said he ain't trying to wait for that fight. Yeah, man. I'm not. I know. All right. Hold on, y'all. I'm just checking my connection here. Gary Balder. Yeah, it is like maybe they just found it a good time to like say, all right, Macedo, you've been out for 3 years or 4 years or whatever. They said, okay, well, Macedo, you ready to come back? Well, prove you're ready to come back by fighting this Tough House winner. And the Tough House winner, they said, okay, she's 3-1 and she's not really ready for one of these major fights. So we're going to give her this fight, But yeah, they should have just gave her that fight, right? They should have just gave her the fight with Victoria Leonardo, right? All right. Lafayette, what's up? He said if she wins, put her in there with Natalia Silva. Oh wow, Natalia Silva. Oh boy, Natalia Silva versus Juju. That's a fight right there. That's gonna be a fight right there. Natalia Silva versus Juju. Ooh. Still got Silva. I gotta go with Silva in that one, man. Gotta go with Silva in that fight. That's a big jump for her, boy. That's a major jump for her. Cause you know what? This next crop, let's see who's some of the promising fighters that's going to get ranked. I think. I want to see JJ Aldrich. I'm gonna do a video on this. All right. Next crop of flyweights, I want to see get ranked. And this ain't necessarily like we call it a triple threat, okay, or quadruple threat. I want to see Miranda Maverick. She lost that spot. I want to see these fighters eventually be in the top, the new division here, the new generation of flyweights. I want to see Miranda Maverick in there. I want to see Natalia Silva. I want to see JJ Aldridge in there. And I want to see Melissa Gatto get in there. I know I talked about fighters I want to see out of there. I know we talked about fighters we need to weed out. We talked about, like the Roxys, Andrea Lees, Lauren Murphy, like the older fighters that need to go. Well, the fighters I want to see get into the division or in the top 15 to round this thing out to make it an even better division. I want to see Melissa Gatto in there, Miranda Maverick, Natalia Silva, JJ Aldridge, and Karine Silva, and eventually Juju Miller. Like, I want to see those 6 fighters eventually get in there, at some point. Boy, we got to go back, though. Hey, some of the ones that got to work, man, I was hoping she was going to be all right. Well, maybe it was a style matchup. Teresa Bleda, hey, maybe it was a bad style matchup at the time, for, Natalia Silva. I kind of thought everybody was thinking that at the time, man. I was like, that's why I ain't even going to pick. But, yeah, at some point, but she got to work. She's got to work, even her stand-up, and she was a little bit slow in there, man. So, yeah, she's got to work on her game. Who else? Yeah, like those 6 fighters, I want to see them eventually get in there, man. Like, I want to see JJ Aldridge make it up, man. I want to see her make it to the top. She's been around for a while. Yeah, Silva, Gatto. I said Karine Silva. Who's Karine Silva fighting? I can't remember. Man, Gabriella. I tell you what, look, Gabriela Fernandez, Mandy Bohm, and Teresa Bleda. Hey, they better step it up. Those are my step it ups. All right. Those are my step it ups, y'all. Like Teresa Bleda, Gabriela Fernandez. I know that's Lafayette's girl. Gabriela Fernandez is Bleda Fernandez. Yeah. And Mandy Bohm. They better get in there and do something, man. Like they lost their debuts, got skills, but they got to understand this UFC is about. These girls don't be playing. Oh, Nabas said he thinks that nobody else wanted to fight Natalia Silva, so they just signed Bleda. Wow. Think a lot of people were ducking Natalia Silva. I don't know if she's a boogie woman yet. I don't know, though. I don't know if she's a boogie woman yet. We'll see. Oh, yeah. That's right. Karine Silva. Lolita said Karine Silva is fighting Priscilla Cachoeira. That's right. They are fighting. I'm going with Karine Silva in that fight. BJ said y'all hyping up Silva. Oh, BJ just don't like her style. That's all. He always hating, man. BJ over here hating on Natalia Silva like she didn't look good in her last couple fights. I know it's a good fight too. Juju versus Jazzy Vicious. Well, I think Miranda wants that fight. Like Miranda's calling for that Jazzuda Vicious fight. Maybe whoever wins that fight gets ranked. Maybe if she wins that fight, they'll give her a ranked opponent after that. Pierce said Marcus will give her one win. They will. Lafayette said Natalia, Gabby, and Karine. Oh, those are his girls. Yeah, okay. All right, man. So, last thing I want to talk about real quick is, this whole thing has been mind-boggling and mind-blowing to people, about Valentina. But I know I asked that question: will Valentina need to do this major overhaul as far as coming back to challenge Alexa Grasso in a rematch for her belt? And in my opinion, I don't think that Valentina needs to make this major overhaul. I think a lot of people, even some articles, are talking about they need to see Valentina 2.0. And some people think she needs to take this whole new approach. But honestly, Valentina Shevchenko, I don't think she needs to take a whole new approach. Like, she doesn't need to, in no way does Valentina Shevchenko need to just throw everything out the door or just go back to the drawing board and say, okay, we need to take this whole new approach where even we are almost just almost a little strange. It's almost like we're foreigner to this style now, right? You know what I mean? It's like you changing. Like you've seen fighters in the past change, and it just doesn't benefit them at all. Like it almost takes away their confidence as well because they're not used to the new styles that they're using when they get in there. So they come up short. Like I think that Valentina just needs to bring out some new dimensions to her already, in experienced her experienced identity as a fighter, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like same way Grasso did. All right, look, Valentina doesn't need to take a new approach. All Valentina needs to do is take a page out of Grasso's book. All right, like take the same skills that you have and build off of it. Take the same skills that you have and build off of it. Like Alexa Grasso, sharp boxer, right? But she didn't take the same boxing approach that she did against some of these other girls that can't box, right? She knew Valentina was coming with the fundamentals of boxing, And what did she do? She took it to the next level. Like she took it to the next level. Uh, really made it about her stance and made it about some very, very sharp, uh, well-timed punches. You know what I mean? Like usually you see Alexa Grasso let off a lot of combinations against these girls with no defense, but in this fight, she made it about sharp, efficient punches. You know what I mean? Like sharp, efficient punches based off of like new angles and footwork. Like it was, she made improvements off of what she already knows, and that I think that's what Valentina needs to do in this fight. Like I'm kind of getting tired of seeing like the same stance in Valentina. Like I want to see her not be so like stiff and ready to plant her feet and kind of have that same little bounce to her. Like that's something that everybody's kind of been looking at. Like a lot of people that are just, so caught up in being fanboys, they won't say that Valentina is complacent. You know what I mean? Like they won't say she's comfortable. And then you got the haters that say she's one dimensional, but it's not that. It's the fact that she's being comfortable with the one or two things that she can get away with, right? Like Valentina is basically being comfortable with the things that she's able to get away with. She's never been pushed to make certain changes off of some of the things that she can do with her stance now and her timing, right? And her efficient striking. Like she hasn't had to go out of the box with that too many times. So I think going into this fight here, she's gonna have to take like approach like Grasso did, even like Amanda Nunes did. Like, Amanda Nunes, she's a hard hitter on the feet. She throws good straight punches, but we got to change up the stance a little bit. We got to change it up. We got to learn how to punch at different angles and throw different combinations. We can't be predictable anymore. Like that's the thing too. Like Valentina, she can get a little predictable. Like, I know some of y'all said that, and like I said, I don't disagree with that. Like she'll just get caught up in doing the same thing because nobody makes her step out of the box. So I think, Valentina just needs to change up how she kind of bounces on her feet a little bit. Like if you know how she does, like she'll kind of bounce like that little Muay Thai stance, part boxer stance where she's like revving up, and eventually somebody's going to figure that out. And somebody like Grasso, who proved to have the IQ and the technical boxing skills, she figured that out. She figured that measurement out, and kind of like that little rev up she does before she throws like a quick jab or a quick calf kick. She figured out that little revving up moment of Valentina. So I think, how she takes her approach as far as her stance, she needs to just change little things there, build off the jab because, again, another reason she doesn't have to change do a whole 180 or this whole new approach is because Valentina wasn't necessarily, she wasn't losing this fight. She wasn't losing this fight. She was just letting Grasso get the best of her in these different moments. You know what I mean? Like Grasso was really making a statement in there in the moments that it really meant something. And I know that would kind of go over people's heads, but like there's just these real slick moments in there, like making a first impression in the first round. That first impression in the first round, Grasso was able to touch her chin already. You know what I mean? Like most people want to just feel out in the first round, but Grasso was already touching her chin. That was already a strike against Valentina right there. And then Valentina having to go in and just hold her down. That was kind of another strike. Even though Valentina's winning these rounds with ground control and takedowns, it's really making her having to work harder and do some things that she didn't want to do or didn't think she'd have to do in this fight. And then going into like the fourth round, she still was trying to get fancy with it, too many spin attacks and things like that, which, Grasso, they trained for. But if you kept it basic, if you just keep it basic and maybe jazz it up like she did with her jab, like I haven't seen Valentina throw that many jabs in a minute, and it was working. It was working. She was out jabbing Grasso for a minute in that fourth round, but the minute she, again, like I keep repeating myself, when the minute she tried for that spin kick, try to get fancy, it cost her. It cost her that. But the minute you do something like that, it's over. But if you just keep it basic and build off of being basic, see, I know Aaron Blanchfield said certain things, but no, sometimes you got to go back to the basics. Like I know Aaron Blanchfield, she made basic seem being bad, but it basically is a good thing sometimes, man. Like, don't listen to some of these fighters on everything. Like Aaron says, her grappling's basic, and so when you use that term, it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, a person is a bad fighter. Now, sometimes you have to go back to the basics in there, because that's how you're gonna that's that's just how you're gonna make it easier for you to get a victory in this fight. Especially for fighters been studying you for a while, like Grasso. Grasso was studying these spin kicks and all of that. That's why she never stepped into that fire and got caught with one of these big shots. You know what I mean? So keeping it basic, man. That jab in Grasso's face, it was killing her, man. It was just like, if she could land more off of that, if she could work more off of that, I would be like, that's all we need to do. You need to get that work in, push her work rate up, be a little bit more poised on her feet, not a lot of like, jitteriness on her, on her legs, trying to set up that same 1-2. Grasso's got that figured out. So it's just really like fine tuning her approach with her stand up in this fight, and being a little bit more active with her strikes, her jabs. I think Valentina was doing well with that. I thought she was doing well with that. Taking Grasso down, it didn't really seem to be no problem though. You know what I mean? Like, when she could do it, there were times that she panicked and made them predictable, but when she did go for takedowns, she was able to hold Grasso down. She was able to do that. So I don't know, man. It doesn't really have to be about this whole new approach of being Valentina 2.0. It's just about humbling yourself and saying, let me do this stuff that I know is really going to work for me here. Like, forget my ego. I'm not going to go in here and try to play this, over the top chess match here, and try to let my ego get ahead of me and say, okay, I can still be the same Valentina I was in the last fight, or the last 2-3 fights. And I think that's what she gets caught up in sometimes now. No, she's a good champion. No, she's disciplined. But sometimes, Valentina will get caught up in that mindset and say, I'm Valentina. I can do whatever I want in there. I can do what I did in the last fight, and it worked. Because some of these spin attacks, they just won't work on every fighter. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody's going to fall for that. Not everybody's going to fall for that. So I think when it all comes down to it, just got to shave down the ego. You got to shave that down. Got to go in there and say, okay, let me do this time around, because finally somebody has kind of figured out what I'm about. So let's make it different. Pena always said, hey, I got the style to beat Nunes, right? She able to do it the first time. What did Nunes do the second time around? She changed up her style, right? Told you, man, like, there's fighters out there that are stalking you. And I talked about this maybe like a few years back, maybe last year, maybe this year. No, it's probably like last year. I did a few videos talking about how you have to stalk the champion and how you have to become a fan of the champion. Like, the more fights you have out there, people are going to be watching you, They're going to be watching you and watching the tapes, and people don't understand that, yeah. When you're at the bottom, somebody out there is like really, really stalking you, and they're ready to get at you. They're going to do that. And Grasso and her team, they executed the perfect game plan, going off of what they seen Valentina do in the past. But like I said, for Valentina, man, it don't come down to this whole new approach. It's just doing some different things off of what she can do with her IQ now and her experience. Maybe like I said, fighting a little bit more behind an active jab, maybe trying to walk Grasso down a little bit more, and don't try, like I said, don't try to look for these fancy one-hitter quitters. Like, again, like, when has Valentina knocked anybody out with one shot since she knocked out Jessica Eye? And I think people even bought into that too. Like, she can hit now. Valentina can hit, and she can put you in respect mode, but I think people overthink that Jessica Eye fight sometimes, even like Lauren Murphy. Like, so many people don't want to get hit with that one shot, but will that one shot come? Well, it won't if you go in there and work, right? It won't if you stay active against Valentina. Like, if you keep her off her feet, like I said, if you don't let her get into her stance, then no, like, that one shot will never come, So people just kind of got caught up into that and just over respect the fighter sometimes. So I don't know. BJ said, thanks for giving me something to listen to at work. Oh, yeah, man. No problem. Like I said, I just had some things to talk about, but yeah, I'm about to get up out of here in a minute. Hold on 1 second, y'all. A few more minutes and I'll be done. Hang on 1 second. All right. So yeah, BJ said thanks for giving me something to listen to at work, bro. Yeah, gotta get that Saturday work in, right? I know a thing or two about that. I think we all do, right? Not this Saturday though. Not this Saturday. Let me go back up and read some comments here. Hold on. I'm just going back because I thought somebody tagged me. Okay, hold on. Oh, okay. Brian said, "Combo, is it time for another triple threat since your first teamer in the top five?" Let me see, man. Who would be in the new one? I got to give it a couple more fights, but I think Silva's definitely in there. Well, she's got 2 victories right now, right? I think Natalia Silva's in there because she's 2-0, but something about her style in this division, I think, is going to be a problem. If I had to put, I put Natalia Silva, and who's another one right now? Aldrich. I got to see what Aldrich looks like this weekend though. Like, there's a lot of good ones in there, but it was something about. I don't know if it is time for another one. It was something about them 3 that really stood out though, man. Like Brian, I think it was something about those fighters that really, really stood out with Santos and Manon. Like, it was kind of like a gut feeling, like, oh yeah, these girls are gonna get to the top. You know, not saying these other girls won't, but I just need to see I need to see them maybe do a little bit more, just a little bit more. The boss said they need to give Blada an easier opponent next time, and she'll do well. She still has a lot of promise. Yeah, I still think she has a lot of promise, man. That was just kind of messed up. That it was one of them style matchup things, man. Like, I still think she's a good fighter, man. There's some Brian that wrote, and I want to read. Okay, he said Valentina actually did some boxing in the Grasso fight. Her jab was good, but not enough to deter is not enough to deter Grasso from coming forward. Yeah, and she was fighting with a good jab. She was putting a good jab out there, but she wasn't following up with anything. And that's why I'm saying, like, and I think you were one of the ones that said this too, Brian. Like, yeah, she can be predictable with the same one too. So she hasn't really got into the mix of like mixing up her into the mix of like throwing different combinations. The jab, then boom with the left hand, throwing uppercuts or like little hooks, or even like throwing to the body sometimes. Like, maybe if Valentina started going to the body with the jab a little bit, stab, jab, body, come back up top with the left hand, like she could have started like getting Grasso's respect. Like, yeah, that jab was landing, but she couldn't hit her with anything else because it was like she didn't want to get hit with one of Grasso's counter punches either. You know what I mean? So I think she's got to mix it up. She's got to mix it up. Yeah, BJ, I don't know, man. New triple threat. I can't do one right now. I don't want to force one. I think there's a lot of good fighters that's going to get into the top 15, but I can't really pick 3 right now that I can guarantee you will be challenging for that belt right now or in the top 5. Because it was a good jab. Now, don't get me wrong. Valentina had a good jab, like, and it was landing on Grasso. But yeah, Grasso still kept walking her down. So I was like, okay, Grasso is falling behind, but she can still catch up in this fight. Valentina's winning this fight, but Grasso is still okay. Look, Valentina's winning the war, but Grasso's winning the battle, right? Grasso's winning the battle. Like, she's still in it. She's still doing damage. She's doing mental damage, right? I know you didn't really talk about that, but hey, she's doing mental damage. Like, she's actually like, y'all just don't understand. Grasso's chipping away at that ego. I mean, I'm sure you know, right? BJ, you gonna admit it. Navash, Brian, like, we can all see that, right? Like, Valentina landing this jab and she getting takedowns, but man, like, the body punches, like, no, that the ego is taking them body blows right now. Grasso hitting with these mental body blows. So you got Valentina over here kind of like, oh, you know what I mean? Like she ain't like taking any more shots in the 3rd and 4th round, but Valentina like taking these big shots when she goes sit back in that corner too. Like, she's still getting hit. So that's a big part of it. That mental, the mental jabs, the mental jabs, and then mental straight right hand. No, that mental southpaw left hand, boy. That yeah, I mean, everything like went southpaw on her that night, man. She was getting hit from different angles, even in the brain. It's like, oh man, my ego's getting damaged. So I'm not, I'm just having a little fun here, but you know what I mean. Like, she was getting chipped away, like picked apart mentally. So uh that makes it hard to come back too. Like, people get hit in the face, your ego, it takes a blow. Like, especially a fighter like Valentina, like, you get hit clean in the face. You get hit in the face. It does something to your ego, especially like, again, Valentina, who doesn't get hit in the face a lot. Somebody that she talked a lot about said, I know your fears, and then this girl hits you in the face and you're like, uh-oh, dang, man. I said, this girl knows. I knew this girl's fears, but hey, it's like she knows mine now. Like, she's like, she's outboxing my ego now. You know what I mean? So it's, yeah, like, it's a very complex. It's a complex thing. It is, man. Fighting, such a complex thing, man. Brian said the only person that doesn't see that is James Perez. Even Claude saw it. Right. Like, that's why I stopped through that Discord the other day. Like, I didn't feel like talking a bunch, man. I didn't have the time to do all that talking and chatting, but I asked him that one question. I know Brian saw it. BJ probably saw it. I asked him that one question about the stand-up game, and it seemed like he still didn't want to give Grasso credit on what she was doing in there. That's why I asked him that simple question, man. Like, do you think she resorted to that wrestling because Grasso's picking her apart? And I wanted to see what James would say. And James still sounded like he didn't want to give her full credit on her getting beat on the feet. Like, yeah, yes, Valentina's out jabbing her. She's out jabbing her, right? But Grasso is still in that fight. Like, that's why I was sweating, man, because Valentina's landing these nice jabs. But when somebody is on the back foot like that, jabbing, and they're not following up, they're kind of thinking. They're thinking like, okay, what am I going to do now? Because Grasso's not quitting. Like, she almost had a problem there, like, in that moment. Like, I have to break this fight down to y'all, but in that moment where Valentina is, like, out jabbing, hitting her in the face with these good jabs, it's like, that's all I got for right now. I don't know what else. Like, I got to keep thinking. She's still thinking. She's still thinking, right? So what does she do in that 4th round? She goes back to trying to land something big. Like, all she had to do was follow up with some straight left hands. And, all she had to do was kind of follow up with some straight left hands after that jab, and maybe Grasso would have went back, stepped back, started respecting her a little bit more. Maybe a few teep kicks, like, did Valentina throw any, like, front kicks to the belly in this fight? Like, why not? Like, if Grasso takes you down, you'll be good, right? Like, that's another thing. Like, going a little deeper here. I'll say I was about to go, but let me give y'all a few more minutes. Like, that's another thing she needs to add. Like, you the Muay Thai fighter, throw some of them JoJo front kicks. Like, didn't JoJo throw some front kicks on Grasso? Like, yeah, like, throw that front kick to the face. throw that teep kick to the belly. Like, Grasso was in like a come forward position. So if you can't hit her with that range of your jab, like, take those subtle steps forward and put that kick to the chest like she did Joanna. Like, Grasso was game for those shots. She could have been hit by those shots. You could split her guard with the front kick to the face. And that just shows you again, like, she didn't know how to switch modes this time. Like, let's be real, like, Valentina didn't know how to switch modes this time. Like, she didn't just kind of like loosen up. She didn't get a little agile and then just start be elusive. Excuse me. Like, she wasn't elusive enough in this fight to just kind of let things fly out. Just throw off some shots and then boom, a front kick to the face. Like, those were punches and kicks that were there for Grasso to be hit with in this fight. So I would definitely say that's part of her approach. Let her Muay Thai flow a little bit more. Like, stop looking for those stiff big shots. She's looking stiff in there in this fight. She got to be a little bit more fluid. Like, I don't care what people say about JoJo. JoJo has a good front kick to the face. Like, that Muay Thai kick, y'all can't knock that. Like, that's like, JoJo has one of the best in WMMA. Like, if we give her credit, if y'all don't want to give her credit for anything else, give her credit for that. Like, JoJo will flow. Like, that front kick she'll throw to your face, she'll just flick it up and she'll kick you right in the face, man. Like, and she will let her combinations flow at times. Like, you got to give credit where credit is due. Like, as an all-around fighter, JoJo might not be the best, but she did let a lot of strikes fly. She did let a lot of strikes fly. And once you find range with maybe that teep kick to the stomach, she can start backing Grasso up and then boom, right in the face. You know what I mean? So Gary Baldwin said, has she ever switched modes? She never had to. She never really had to. I mean, she chose to switch modes in Andrade, right? She chose to switch modes in that fight because, again, she had it in the bag, but she's never really had to. There's a difference between switching modes when you want to and when you have to, right? Like, a lot of us can go say, okay, I choose to wrestle today, right? I choose to wrestle. But what do you do when somebody actually makes you have to fight off your back, right? What do you do when somebody's actually making you have to resort to that? Like, you can't set it up the way you want to. You have to do it on the fly now. You have to adjust to what they're doing. Like, you can't go in and say, I'm going to come in with this game plan, set up a couple jabs, and then, boom, take you down. No, like, you can't do it the way you want to. You got to do it the way they're bringing it at you. So, yeah, she's never really had to. Lolita said, I think it was on combos. What was on? I think it was on. So I saw Mojo yesterday on the day or the day before. I was worried about. Really? I ain't seen him. I mean, I just haven't. I haven't seen him. He'll usually ask me a question. I haven't seen him. Brian said she threw 1 or 2 front kicks. I rewatched this morning. 1 or 2. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if she threw 1 or 2, no wonder I can't remember. Like, I think she just needs to take the lead more as a little bit more aggressive, not over aggressive, but she was really like stepping back a lot in this fight. I think she needs to walk forward a little bit more and find that range with the kick to the face or something like that. Like I said, Lolita said, I'm concerned for Val's psyche, but I want her to be defeated again. Yeah, when you be on the top for so long, it's a different thing. It's a different game, Piers, Piers said to BJ that left made Valentina's knees buckle. That's where she lost the belt. That left and that one right. How long before Grasso versus Val is available on YouTube? I say give it about 3 months. I say give it about 3 months, or wait till the rematch is announced, Lolita. When they announce the rematch, they'll probably put it up sooner, or maybe in about 2 or 3 months on their YouTube channel. BJ must have been calling for smoke. BJ, you at work, you ain't smoking nobody. No, BJ, I'm calling for smoke with you about this Manon thing. Like I said, man, you've been trying to go in on the Beast, like the Beast ain't ready to fight. But hey, the Beast is up there. I'm just saying, like, we're gonna have to say, okay, we looking at you're looking at Montana as this fighter that likes to do it all, and she's this type of beast. But hey, I'm talking about the real beast that made it to the top. Because I don't care what anybody says. I still think Manon wants to fight for the belt. You know, maybe a little bit more on her terms and what she's doing. It might have something to do with contracts and how she wants to put that championship fight on her contract before renegotiation. I don't know, but she's still coming for that fight, man. I'm telling you. I ain't gonna switch up. Like I said, I'm gonna still rock with a fighter. Like somebody do a little thing, I'm gonna call it out. But hey, I ain't gonna just jump ship on a fighter like so many people do and say, "Oh man, this fighter here is trash." Like, they're a coward and all of that. Like, I don't think any fighter is a coward in the top 5, man, or in the top 10 or top 15 or unranked, regardless. Kareem, what's going on, man? He said Valentina is still good. Oh, most definitely, yeah. Made it to the BJ. We going in now. Look, I know you're doing this just to troll me, but okay. What about Grasso? Like, you would, BJ. Remember now, after we had this discussion, I'm gonna go ahead and call it now. But we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this smoke out later, if you want to call it. We'll call it a sparring session. All right. It's open mat. We're gonna put you in the open mat. We're gonna do this sparring session over here. All right. So you remember, BJ, like when we started really analyzing, you said Grasso had the same energy as Manon. You started seeing it too. You said, I don't know if she should be in my quadruple threat anymore. If she ain't asking for this belt. These fighters keep asking for one more fight. I don't know if she should be up in there. And remember now, like I said, all respect to Grasso, she won this fight. But she still asked for one more fight too. The UFC put her in this situation. Remember that. The UFC put her in this situation. The UFC gave her this fight. Okay? They gave it to her because they had to make it because Manon was injured. Remember that. That's how it still works out. Remember that. Listen, Grasso had to perform the way she did because she like I said this too. Grasso got put into that corner. Had no choice. Had to take this fight. This wasn't no situation where I won it. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't no situation where I said, oh, I want her right now. She didn't say that at all. And yeah, the boss done took my other fact. I was gonna say, if Manon didn't get injured, I think she still would have fought her. If she would have, if she wasn't injured, they would have made her take it as well. All that one other fight, no, they wouldn't have did that. She would have still had to take it. So pretty much the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, like that comment. I remember her saying like her striking was better, but as of recently, I don't know if she had said she could beat her. Like, I wouldn't have said that. Like, being real, like I wouldn't have said something like, "Oh, I've always said." At this point, I wouldn't have said that. Like, I'm gonna keep it 100. Like, good fighter. I think she can, but I really wouldn't go on record to say stuff like that. Like, "Oh yeah, I could have." I've always said I could have, because I remember her saying in an interview that her striking was better than Valentina's. I remember her saying that, but saying your striking is better is one thing, but saying you're going to beat a person, that's another, right? You know, I think it's different. Like, that's the difference. But yes, at this point, she shouldn't have to say something like that, like Macy. If you comparing it to that, I don't know if it's like Macy Barber, but she doesn't really have to say anything at this point. Like I said, that was one of the reasons like I liked her in Santos before. Like, you don't really have to say much, just keep fighting. Like, you're already number one, number two, so I really wouldn't even say anything at this point. That's just me. If I was managing a fighter that doesn't really talk a lot, I would just say, hey, you know what? Forget that question. Like, hey, let's move on. What did you think of this fighter? Oh, just say, hey, I would have loved to have been that one because I thought I could have beat her. That's it, you know. But you don't have to say I've always said that. That's how I see it. I remember her saying, yeah, like her striking was better, which okay, yeah, fine. But yeah, you know, I'm just saying Manon still beats Grasso. Yeah, I believe that. And Santos. Yeah, I still rock with Manon for sure. Yeah. I would have just loved, you know, for her to be the one to get it or Santos, but hey, Grasso got it. I'm like, hey, whoever shows up and executes good game plan, I'm all for it. But yeah, that was the situation though, too, BJ. You know, Grasso didn't necessarily say I want it right away as well. She just stepped up and took it. And I think that would have been the same situation, like with Manon. Hey, she would have taken it too. Moonlight, what's up? He said, I'm a Valentina fan, but Grasso had a solid game plan, forcing Valentina to box like that. It was very smart, going southpaw, neutralized the kick. And then it became a boxing match, a kickboxer versus a boxer. Right. It was a very educated game plan, man. I think that Moonlight, man, like it would have been so much. And I'll say this too, like Valentina doesn't need to take a new approach, but maybe a few different looks. Like it would be cool if Valentina could do that. Like if she could have switched to orthodox, like, man, what if she had switched to orthodox in that situation? Maybe she could have landed more kicks. Like that's one credit I got to give Joanna too, man. Like Joanna can switch. People don't understand, like in MMA, like it's a big help to do it in boxing. But imagine, man, like if she could switch, like Joanna does it, man. Like, yeah, you got to give credit to Joanna. Like, Joanna can switch southpaw. Like, she switched southpaw and Wei Li in their first fight, and she started landing good left hands, you know, and setting up her left head kick. Like, imagine if she switched orthodox. You know, maybe she could have started landing straight right hands on Grasso or throwing and landing more right kicks to the head. Like, yeah, I got to give credit for Joanna. Like, yeah, Joanna could do that. Brian said, no, she had to say something because she knows she was about to get passed by. She called out Aaron so the UFC wouldn't do something like rebook Aaron versus Tyler. Well, I'm not saying you don't have to say anything. You just don't have to say over the top stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't think she's going to get passed by because everybody wants to see this fight. And it's not like before where it was just the same people at the top, like Andrade, Murphy, Chikagan, and Jennifer Maia, right? The top 10 is different. So I don't think Manon Fiorot is going to get passed by in this situation. Like she's coming back in August to fight somebody. So she's going to get her opponent regardless, but she's not going to get a title shot. We already know that right now, right? Until like the end of the year. So I think she's still in a good place. Like you just have to fight and win at this point where you're at. Because people want to see that fight now. You don't have to go overboard and talk crazy. Just call out Aaron and that be it, right? I think the thing she's saying about Aaron is good trash talk, which I'll talk about later. But you know, going overboard and all that other stuff, like you even said yourself, she's saying is like Macy, delusional Macy Barber talk. Like you don't have to say anything. Like they won't overpass, they won't overlook you. Santos is making them overlook her. Okay, like Brian, look, Santos is in a position where bad stuff is going on behind the scenes with her, like reputation is right. She doesn't want to fight out of the UFC, out of the US, out of Brazil, excuse me. She doesn't want to fight in the US according to Dana White, right? So she's kind of making them overlook her. But the only thing holding Manon back now is an injury. I think she's fine. Like, other than that, you don't have to try hard anymore. She would have been the one to get the fight. Robot Chicken said, to be honest, I think Grasso didn't want all the Val bootlickers coming after her. They were mad at Aaron and Casey for being confident. That's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what it is, Robot Chicken. When it comes down to it, you know, you're gonna have to take it. And the way she took the fight and approached it, it really shook up all the bootlickers. I mean, yeah, it really did. Yeah, Aaron Manon, I think, happens in August. Yeah, I'd be surprised if we ever see it. I think we'd be surprised if Valentina ever goes orthodox. Yeah, at this point, I would be. Val got it hard no matter where she turns. Tyler, Aaron, and Grasso. Yeah. Yeah, Santos shot herself in the foot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, you know, like Santos, she's in a good position. Like, they gave her a fight. That's what I'm saying. Like, if Manone's not injured, she would get it. When come back in August, she'll get a fight. Santos, they gave her a fight. All she had to do was show up and win, and she could have been back in the mix to get a rematch, right? But other than that, what's gonna, what happens with her now? Like, she denied a fight. She doesn't want to fight out of Brazil. So she's putting herself in that position. Moonlight says since day one she's been fighting like this from the jump. Switching stance could be backfire if you're not used to it. Right. That's what I'm just saying. Like, if she had that ability, like, you don't switch if you don't know what you're doing. No way. You don't switch when you don't know what you're doing. Let me get that straight. I'm not saying you switch when you don't know what you're doing, but I'm saying that if she had that ability in the beginning, like if she was a little bit more elusive, like you seen her do in the past. See, people don't know Manon. She started off as an orthodox fighter. Like, I seen her fight orthodox, but she fights southpaw now. I think she can do both. But yeah, like Joanna, you see fighters like them, they train it and they go by it in fights, and they go by it and train. They go by it. They switch back and forth and ring, mat, whatever. Amanda, she's unswitched styles to get uncomfortable. And I think it's just the whole fact where you make yourself uncomfortable that takes you to another level with it, right? Yeah, there's something there, Brian. That's my point, though. It's just like something they're not telling us, but regardless, like whatever she did is put her in a bad position, and it's worse than like getting knocked out 2 times in a row. Now, you know what I mean? It kind of makes you kind of like a tainted fighter, right? Whatever she did kind of made her a tainted fighter now. So it's put her in a bad situation, like worse than some fighters that lose 3 in a row. Now she's at a position where it's like they're not wanting to touch it right now. A lot of legal stuff going on. So, she's number 2, but yeah, she's the number 2 that's going to get overlooked. Like, I think Manon and Blanchfield, they're good to go. Like, they're fights that people want to see with them. Like, people want to see Manon and Blanchfield fight. People want to see Manon and Blanchfield fight the champion. People want to see Manon and Blanchfield fight Valentina. So the options are endless with them, but when it comes to Santos, she's the one that's getting overlooked. Yeah, she didn't pay her team, man, allegedly. I know Marina Rodriguez, I don't think she's following her anymore. I was like looking to see if they still train together once, and I don't think she still follows her. But all right, y'all, I'm about to get up out of here. I appreciate everybody coming in and listening to me, just, rap with y'all a little bit. I like to get up in here and rap, and we talk a few fights. But this card starts at 3 p.m. tonight or this afternoon. The card starts in like less than 3 hours, y'all. Who do y'all got one last time? Lipski or Aldrich? I got Aldrich. Kareem, always good to have you, man. And you have a good one too. Lolita and all of y'all robot chickens, Brian. No fight companion. We'll see. If you don't see me, then no. But if you see me, be on the lookout. I might call the fight. We'll see if I have time. Hit that like button and subscribe on your way out. And yeah, I'll try to catch up on some other talk that some of y'all hit me up with. Shout out to Saint. He been asking me some questions. Marcus Bell behind the scenes. He asked me some different things, or he just sent me some different things that I got to talk about here. A lot of people been talking about the champion now. I mean, Maya, Manon, Murphy. It's wild. We ain't gonna get over this, man. We ain't gonna get over this for like the next couple months. I think, man. People gonna be talking about this fight for a while. All right, Running Rennies, he's out, and we about to head out. Let's see. Yes, sir. I'm out of here. Subscribe. Peace.